If you're bored, you can simply close your eyes and rotate a cow in your mind. It's free and cops can't stop you. How do you politely tell your visitor that it's time to go home? If you're from the Midwest, you just say welp really forcefully and slap your knees with your hands, then stand up. Other Midwesterners will recognize the signal and say suppose we should head out. 10 years from now, you'll put on a jacket and find a mask in the pocket. Oh man, what a weird year that was, you'll chuckle to yourself. Then you'll pick up your machete and continue across the wasteland, keeping to the shadows to avoid the roving gangs of cannibal raiders. You have 30 minutes to hide a USB drive in your house. Your house will then be raided by police, detectives and some FBI agents all searching for the USB. Where do you hide it so that it won't be found? I can only imagine that right now somewhere in the world there is a group of FBI agents raiding a house, sweating, not being able to find a specific USB. Their boss is on their race. Their last hope is to consult the all-knowing members of the r/askreddit community. The fact that homeowners associations exist is wild to me. You buy an entire house and some lady a couple doors down can tell you that you're not allowed to display your antique frog statuette and you have to pay a fine. Insane. Leaving a watermelon on someone's doorstep in the middle of night is a pretty inexpensive way to occupy a portion of their mind forever. 2029. My TV starts flashing red with an alert because I lied to Amazon Prime about how many people are in my living room watching Trolls 5. They send 15 cops in riot gear and they kill my dog. I'm not allowed to shop at Whole Foods for 2 weeks. People protesting for Disneyland to open so they can walk around in the blazing sun for 7 hours, to go on 3 rides then have the worst family fight in years and silently drive home. My worst nightmare is Spotify randomly throwing out an Ed Sheeran song whilst I'm driving, and then I crash and die, but it keeps playing, so the first responders think I was an Ed Sheeran fan and they tell my mum, and I end up being cremated to ducking shape of you. Jack Bulk is literally the only human that never needs any context for me. I could see him going anywhere and doing anything. Like if I got abducted by aliens and saw him just wandering around the spaceship putting bugle chips on his lingers to make it look like he has claws, I would be like, that's some classic Jack Bulk right there and not even question it. New dating app idea called 7.5. Only for people who are like a strong 7 maybe an 8 on a good day, who look kinda athletic, but would probably die if they had to run a mile. Have depression but the kind that makes you funny. Car's check engine light is on. No one else is allowed. Nursing school doesn't prepare you for the number of elderly patients who will casually confess to decades old mid-years. 1 year in here for $30 billion. You have no books, movies, phones, consoles, nothing. Can you do it? Okay, this prop going to sound psychopathic but listen me. You gotta get food right. I'd just find something really boring, laborious and time consuming to do with my food. Like if it's a protein bar I'd smash it into really tiny bits and count them very slowly while eating. Ain't even in the room and you've already lost it LMRO. Imagine having a miscarriage and your boyfriend at the time makes a comic on the internet about it and then it becomes a ducking meme for like 15 years. Why is every Reddit relationships question like I, female 29, love my fiance, male 34, except whenever we fight, he takes a dump in the living room, then makes me refer to his dump as Mr. Huskinsey and apologize to it. Am I overreacting? Our wedding is in 6 hours. Dudes will be like, where's my big titty girlfriend with a small waist that watches anime and plays video games, but not too much, and can be both my mom and my therapist meanwhile they're just some guy. Every city has a guy they all know about. You can visit a friend in their town and see a man dressed in robes, riding a horse and your friend will go, oh yeah haha that's horseback Jesus, and then that's just the end of the explanation. Why are so many Slex toys purple? Is there some sort of science behind purple and honeyness? Someone commission me to investigate this. Slex toys are purple because the manufacturers want people to associate them with me. Tinky Winky, a living manifestation of pure dust. I once heard ska described as what plays in a 13-year-old kid's head when he gets extra mozzarella sticks, and nothing in this world is more accurate. Anyone else go through that occasional phase where toast and butter is just the tastiest ducking creation on the planet and you have to restrain yourself from eating an entire loaf of bread in 10 minutes, or is it just me? Microwaves have like 32 buttons, but you only need about 4, including number buttons. Look me in the eye and tell me you use the 7 key. Some of you never had to spend hours in the kitchen table crying as your dad shouts, "What is 3 times 7? People cry doing their math homework. When I was 22, my father, stumbling drunk and C-cycle, fell and hit his head. He died instantly. That's when I realized, in the midst of my grief, how much I love beef stew. For this recipe, you'll need a slow cooker. Coworker, you didn't accidentally staple your balls to your desk again, did you? Me, no. Coworker, then come here. Me, okay. Sound of desk sliding across floor. Happy first official day of the Christmas tree season. Pro tip, if you ask your salesman if they have any of the really good trees and the guy tries to sell you weed, don't report him to his boss. It was just a misunderstanding, and he was trying to help you. Mrs. Evans. The evangelical girls in my class, who weren't allowed to read Harry Potter because it had witchcraft, now think they can cure measles with essential oils. Who is in potions class now? Gracelyn. If you ask a coworker how are you, and they say well, I'm here, that loosely translates to I need you to push me off the roof. We can make it look like an accident. If I die, I'm finally free. If I live, we'll sue this place and split the money. Please, for the love of God, help. Do you ever wonder how many stories have been told about you? I don't mean rumors or gossip. A story like one time I was at the mall and this girl dropped her hot dog, but she picked it up and ate it. What if I'm that girl? How many times have people seen me do something I thought no one saw, and is now being used as an icebreaker at a family dinner? One time I was in this historical park in New York, and I was climbing a tree in order to get a good photo, and I fell out just as a family was walking past. 2 years later, I ran into the mom at Stop and Shop, and she gasped and said, "Oh my god, tree girl," and I've never been the same since. Did a rooster write this? What do roosters do? The roosters may break up hen fights, find and give treats to then hens, encourage egg laying, and even monitor the nest boxes. Roosters are beautiful. Roosters are classic farmyard icons, and they are gorgeous to look at in many cases. Roosters have a lot of personality. Tons of names in my phones are Kenny Landlord and Mike Electric, or Pete Do Not Answer, and just realized this is how Anglo surnames have always worked. Slex is cool, but have you ever made a joke at a dinner party that bombed, and you felt bad, but then the host of the party pulled you aside later and said it wasn't your fault the joke bombed, it's just that Kate's brother died in a skiing accident, so skiing jokes are off bounds. Me, taking a pass in my own house like normal. My anxiety, what if someone slipped you hallucinogenic drugs and you're actually in Walmart right now passing in the middle of the store? Me, we'll confront that problem when we come to it. Children's media really made it seem like getting sprayed by a skunk and needing to take a bath in tomato juice was a when, not an if. Our boss just banned overly specific nicknames and the whole office is staring at Ratsnitch Brian the good time ruiner. If a woman asks if you notice anything new, tell her I do. Your beauty surprises me every day. Then continue thinking about velociraptors. A Soviet soldier training his backflip tomahawk throw. Imagine being some poor German child who has been conscripted in 1945 and the last thing you see is ducking Chad Ivan 360 no-scoping your ace with a tomahawk while doing backflip with enough vodka in his system to kill a bear. I think my favorite part of every flight is during takeoff, when the pilot screams "Bend to my will metal Skybird" and take us to the big blueness, and all the passengers chant Skybird. Skybird. To convince the plane to take off. Serious question. When someone's telling you a sad story and crying, how long should I wait before I take a bite of my corn dog? If I had a nickel for every time I got John kicked off the swim team for putting laxatives in their Gatorade before trials and blaming it on him, I'd have 1 nickel. Generation Z will never know the feeling of sliding the VHS tape out of the box, pushing it into the VCR, and then having the FBI raid your house because your dad did a bunch of Enron stuff. There are 2 kinds of people. The ones that pack 6 days before a trip, and the ones that wake up day of and realize they need to do a load of laundry, and they marry each other. I bet if they made Ratatouille 2, it would have been like Ratatouille International, and they would have entered a cookery contest and met chefs from around the world, but they all had different rats in their hats, like a sushi rat and a Guy Fieri rat and a Germany rat called Ratwurst. Guys, what are the sensation differences with putting your pens in a mouth, vague, and ace, and which do you prefer? The mouth is a sports car, capable of amazing things when controlled by a talented driver. The vague is a high-end sedan, luxury interior with all the amenities and features, built for comfort, a smooth ride all the way, 10 over 10, would drive it every day. The Ace is a 1997 base level Jeep Wrangler with 130,000 miles on the odometer. Yeah, sorta fun to take for a spin once in a while just for kicks. But the interior is pretty sparse, the seats aren't very comfortable for driver or passenger, and you might leak some fluids unless you do a big maintenance ritual right before you take it out. Personally, I could take it or leave it, but I'm aware that some people just have a thing for anglers. So be it, to each their own. Why do so many mobile games want access to all photo galleries and camera on your phone? They want pictures of you on the toilet, so they can bulk mail you into writing good reviews about their product. Don't ask me how I know, cause all I know is that Candy Crush is a lifesaver during these hard times. Would recommend to a friend. Do you ever watch a film to the end of the credits, pick a name, and think, hey Clint Young Green, Assistant Bear Trainer number 3, I bet you thought nobody would see you down here. Nice job, pal. See somebody on Twitter who is more successful than me. I gotta get off this website. Switches to Instagram and sees someone heater than me. Map, duck this app. Goes on Facebook and sees a guy I went to middle school with is in jail for murder. There we go. My wife and I made custom skaters on Tony Hawk and we looked like a couple who got arrested because our baby died. Being called smart because you have a variety of information on different subjects, but in reality, it's all surface level intelligence and you don't feel like you're really good at anything. Did your high school take drunk driving so seriously they staged a biennial car accident with actual students, so you had to watch at least one of your friends die, while one kid had to go to fake court and feel what it was like to listen to parents of people they killed? Or are you normal? I don't want my laptop to be the thinnest model yet. I want a battery that will outlast the sun, a screen big enough to blind the person behind me, more USB slots than there are Apple fanboys in the Bay Area, a ducking disc reader or writer. I will pay extra for it to be heavy enough to bludgeon someone to death. If you're laid up with your girl in a 41 to 135 degree room and she starts multiplying rapidly, that butch is a foodborne pathogen. Stay woke. If someone you know is getting deeply into making bread from scratch, they are deeply depressed, I promise you. Very obviously being hit on. Ha ha ha, okay, well, see you around. 4 days later, cutting open a cantaloupe. Wait a second. Alexa, show me the unnervingly large Venn diagram of people who hate immigrants, but love to take 23andMe tests to find out exactly what type of immigrant their family once was. The population of Scotland is around 5.25 mil, and there are 600 mil cats in the world, so if every cat decided to invade Scotland, Each Scot would have to fight off around 114 cats each, and I really don't think they could pull it off. Stuntman on TV. Don't try this at home. Me, sitting on couch eating out of a 5-pound bag of M&Ms. Okay. The rumor that I'm secretly creating a zombie apocalypse to generate demand for flamethrowers is completely false. My plan would involve hollowing out West Virginia and using the slag to fill in Lake Ontario, completing a diagonal chain of now saltwater lakes across Turtle Island and linking the Arctic and Atlantic seas. This would benefit no one and cause untold damage. I will take no questions. Kids who grow up on Spotify will just never know the thrill of picking up your stoner friend's 80GB 6th generation iPod at a party and scroll wheeling through 7 different spellings of the Beastie Boys to find the one that has the least songs missing from Check Your Head. Laptop overheating. Pour water on it to cool it down. I trusted you. Do not trust people like me. I will take you to museums and parks and monuments and kiss you in every beautiful place so that you can never go back to them without tasting me like blood in your mouth. I will destroy you in the most beautiful way possible. And when I leave, you will finally understand why storms are named after people. My 36 female husband, 41 male, has some disturbing requests for after he's passed away. This one is really bizarre, and I'm sorry ahead of time. My husband of 12 years has had some medical problems recently. The topic about end-of-life plans came up, and I asked if he wanted to be buried. He didn't want that, nor did he want to be cremated. My husband wants me to have his skull taken from his body and cleaned. Then he wants that skull put on the mantelpiece in the living room. The rest of his body he wants sent to one of those places that makes the gems out of bodies and made into 2 blue diamonds. He then wants those gems to be put in the eye socket of the skull to look like eyes. Then he can watch the family home and be passed down through the generations. I'm so glad Gaga became a legend. I remember in high school, my math teacher was like, let's see where she is in 10 years, and here we are. 10 years later with Gaga being a legend and my math teacher being in jail for sleeping with students. Bless. When you see a huge pickup truck with a We the People windshield decal and quill pen calligraphic script, that's when you know you are dealing with a sincere constitutional scholar and not just a roofer who fantasizes about shooting his ex-wife in self-defense. Cool country you've got there. Would be a shame if someone invented a website for ranking heat girls on campus and your mom used it to learn how to poison herself with horse paste. One day, I hope to be wealthy enough to not do a double take every time I see abandoned furniture on the side of the road. I swear I'm the only person alive who respects when people are sleeping. Literally nobody else gives a shit. They'll blast music, turn the lights on, decide to watch a movie on my bed, start the lawnmower. Like how the duck did you even get this lawnmower in my room, and why? Kids today are like, so what did y'all do before the internet? Did you just not know anything? And the answer is yes. You would ask your Aunt Marge a question, she'd give you the wrong answer and you'd carry that misinformation for 20 years. Yeah, being told I love you is good, but have you ever been called big man by the guy serving your kebab? Everyone is freaking out about the National Guard in their towns. Relax Karen, it's not SEAL Team 6, that's Kevin the bartender from Applebee's drinking a White Claw and driving a Humvee at 9 AM. They aren't coming for your 86 rolls of toilet paper. Your Tinder date welcomes you into their bedroom. They excuse themselves and go to the restroom, leaving you alone on their bed. What is your next move? A. Click the Himalayan salt lamp. B. Click the Himalayan salt lamp. C. Click the Himalayan salt lamp. D. All of the above. Would it be immoral to raise a baby to believe they're growing up in the 90s by only exposing them to 90s media and telling them the year is 1998, and then one day, when they're a bit older, just expose them to present day media and convince them they were asleep for a long time but didn't age? Why did I study computer science? Well, I have a dream of becoming a white tech guy's third consecutive Asian girlfriend and smiling quietly on his armored San Francisco parties while he pretends his yellow fever is actually an interest in Japanese urbanism. MTV should do a show where they have a young woman read 3 of the honey yes messages from guys in her DMs in front of the 3 men's moms, and the moms have to guess which one was their son. A screenshot of the DM will be projected as well, so the moms can use their grandma as a clue. Life is basically this. 1. You get born without your consent. 2. Grow up. 3. You realize everyone is sad, nothing matters, and nobody has any answers. 4. You eat cold spaghetti over the sink and think about life. 5. Not bad, you think, gazing out the kitchen window at the night sky. Folks who don't give you a recipe because it's a family secret are very odd. First of all, it's not like your family is living off these cinnamon rolls, and secondly, you've told me you cheat on your wife before. So like, is it ducking clove or not? Guys who drive automatic, my car is automatic. Guys who drive manual, I will never drive an automatic cause I'm a real driver and I'm one with my machine. After I drive, I put the shifter in my ace because me and my machine are one. Why did elementary schools just occasionally bring in a dude with a big snake? Who was that man? What were his credentials? Are you legally allowed to just stay in the roundabout indefinitely? Let's say you really enjoy turning left. Could you just not take any exits and stay in the roundabout until you need to fill up or charge up the car? Could cops pull you over? If so, what law could they pull you over for not leaving the loop? I want to make an infomercial where it's not clear what the guy's selling. Like he's demonstrating how powerful this vacuum is by snacking up a bowling ball, but then he starts showing you how strong the bowling ball is by dropping it on some knives, but then he's showing how the knives haven't been damaged at all by using them to cut through some shoes, and it goes on and on for 2 hours, then just loops back to the start while a number flashes on screen the whole time, and if you call it, it just echoes whatever you say back to you. The single most important thing a man can do to be an ally is give his woman friends permission to give dudes at the bar his number, so when they call, he can angrily say that's not funny because she died 15 years ago that very night. A huge red flag for me is when a guy's favorite book is a hollowed out copy of Mein Kampf with a gun in it. Learned today that my ex-husband buys his weed from a lesbian dominatrix that banned him from DJing at her Lex club because he kept playing his version of Lean On Me made entirely of samples of Homer saying amazing. Every word in that sentence is better than the last. Is there an emoji for I saw your text but didn't know how to perfectly respond to it, so I waited until I knew exactly what to say, but it's been 3 weeks, so now I just feel microbursts of shame every time I see your name in the elephant graveyard of messages on my phone. Sorority girls be like, oh my god, I'm such a crackhead, while talking on the phone with their friend on the Bluetooth speaker in their BMW, while hitting their Juul, sipping their Hydra flask, and wearing $130 Lululemon shorts. Yeah, Bethany, try crack, just once, please. I befriended a crow today, and I don't need any of you anymore. I can't wait to live in the woods. I can't wait to have antlers and only speak in clicks and whistles and watch you all die in your cities. You ask me for the time and notice my watch is actually a live shrimp hugging my wrist. He whispers 12:30, but he's guesstimating as shrimps usually do.